Hello, you
Hi.
guys. My name is Adam. I'm from serienjunkies.de. We are a German website specialized on TV stuff and series. And I'm a fan since the beginning. I remember when I first discovered this show in the first season and thought, what the F is this? And I loved it from the very start. And now we're in season 9, and I think you're renewed to season or till season 12.
Yeah.
But what a ride it was, right? So, how can so how can the show stay fresh in season 9? And what can you tease about that for our listeners and viewers?
That's a good question. I think, well, I mean, what I've been saying is I don't think it's with how the show is formatted, you have these limitless possibilities, right? The multiverse, et cetera, all that stuff. So, seeing the scripts that the writers have been delivering for, 9, 10, we'll start working on 11 at some point. Like there really is no shortage of fresh ideas simply because of the nature of the show. So just I know you've seen some of season 9, so I know you can attest that the writers have been able to just pull all these crazy concepts using the premise of the show in such a great way, in such a way that feels so fresh, even 9 seasons in.
What would you say, Spencer? How do you you are there from the beginning? So,
I have
what's it
been.
for you? How is this for you like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always impressed by the scenarios that they bring to the table. And I think it's a really great season, this particular one, because we get, I think, more classic Rick and Morty adventures that we've been kind of missing. I know we kind of go between very high concept ideas put into a uh, sort of a like an easier to look at framework, right? But I truly think we balance all the seasons, or the writers balance all the seasons by giving the audience a variety of circumstances to play with, things that reflect on our current culture, but also things that are very unique and specific to Rick and Morty as characters, as well as the dynamic family, the dysfunctional dynamic family that exists within the multiverse.
Do you remember your guys' casting process or audition? Do you maybe remember even who was up against you? Or, I mean, are there different summers? Are there different Mortys that could have been?
Oh,
Um, yeah.
in the beginning, the show was a very tiny little thing, 15 years ago when I auditioned for it. I'm sure that there were other people who would have been great for the role of Summer. But at the time, they were really looking for people who just had their own unique voices. And when I got a call back for it, I had been an on-camera actress most of my career. I had done one episode of Robot Chicken, and I went in. I needed to get a gig because I was pregnant at the time, and I started auditioning for voiceovers. It was one of the ones that gave me a call back. And there was like a little drawing. Sometimes they'll give you a drawing of the character. So I had a little picture of what she looked like. And then that was it, really. And I just went into my audition, and then I got called back, and I was very pregnant. I was 8 months pregnant when I went for my callback, but they loved my voice and they loved my delivery of the lines, and I ended up booking it. And there were like it took a couple of years for anybody to actually see it. That's why we're only in season 9, while they were animating it and testing different characters out. So there's always a chance when you're on a show that you don't continue. I think there were like two different Beths before we settled on Sarah Chalk. So, or they did. Obviously, I didn't have a role in that. But no, I never got to meet anyone else who auditioned for Summer. I'm sure, and no one has come up to me to tell me that they did. I'm sure like Kari Walgren did, who plays the voice of Jessica. I'm sure she auditioned for Summer. Obviously, she's an incredibly talented actress. She does also the Car and Diane. So I assume she at some point started off with Summer. I'll let you take the rest of that, Harry.
Yeah, a little different process, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, was not, aware of any other specific people auditioning for Morty, or at the for the entire audition process right up until the end. I think they were having everyone read for Rick and Morty. And it wasn't until the final callback that I had in LA, where they said, "Yeah, we just want you to do Morty for this." So, I cannot imagine how many other. I mean, I know for a fact that they heard thousands and thousands and
Oh,
thousands of
okay.
people. I can't imagine having that job of listening to that and trying to be like, okay, how does that sound? But yeah, so once they narrowed it down to however many people, and they narrowed it down to okay, we just want you to do those roles. We did a 3 hour final callback where we did test episodes, and we did I think we got through an a full episode and a half of season 7. So which, like, looking back on it now, basically I was just doing the job for that final callback. It was
Yeah.
pretty much as close to the actual work as you could get. So yeah, thankfully I didn't have to meet anyone or chit chat with anyone in the waiting room that was also going up for Morty or anything like that. I didn't even meet Ian Cardoni, who plays Rick, until we were like 80% of the way done with season 7. So, they keep you kind of isolated with voiceover.
I was just imagining like random guys with yellow shirts in the waiting room or something like that.
Yeah, method.
Yeah.
But how did you
Actually,
approach? Yeah.
I did one time go to a callback for a voiceover audition, but I didn't really realize it was voiceover, and I did dress up as the character.
Oh,
It's
that's
just,
funny.
it's the most embarrassing thing I've ever done because I auditioned for both, and I just like didn't. I'm never really. I would always just do voice. It just never seemed, and I was like, no, I'm just really committed. But the truth was, I didn't.
I mean, I would never be so unprofessional to wear the stuff I like, as this is a Rick
I don't know
Oh
what
pajama.
my
what's a Rick
gosh.
head. It's
It's
faded away. I'm
blurred on
like,
the
oh, is
side, but I
that
can
me?
still tell. Yeah, you can see the spikes. That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Uh, but Harry, how did you approach the role? Did you like try to copy the actor that was before you, or how were there notes that you were given?
Well, in terms of voice, yes, like it was a voice match. They specifically wanted it to sound exactly the same as the previous 6 seasons, and specifically, like they said, work on season 5 and 6 voice, because voices change over time if you look at any animated show. So that was the goal, and but it started as just like. Oh, I'm sure you and your friends, everyone, right, when they watch shows, especially I think Rick and Morty, people like to do the voices to each other and just have fun. So for me, it was like, oh yeah, like I can kind of do those voices. Like I'll throw my hat in the ring. I'd love to audition. And then as I got like more callbacks, and it moved through the process, they hired a vocal coach to really like help me get into the voice, and really like actually work on the technical stuff, tongue placement, how wide my mouth is, trying to get rid of certain parts of like my own natural accent so it sounded as close as possible to the original voice. So yes, and then how I treated it, I was just kind of like, oh, the whole time I was just like, oh, this is so much fun. Like I never thought I was gonna get it. It was just such a fun experience for me to audition for my favorite show on TV, that I actually kind of wasn't in my head about it because I didn't think it was real, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That's a great way to
Spencer,
approach it.
Thanks.
Spencer, you mentioned your beginnings as an actress. I'm a huge Greek fan, and I'm very
Oh,
bummed out that it isn't available to stream in Germany anywhere. But
oh
since there are so
no.
many reunions and continuations, do you think Greek could ever have like a film or another season or a reboot or
You
anything
know,
like that?
I keep pushing for it, but I'm giving up now. I'm gonna go with like
Oh,
no, never. I'm never doing a remake of it because maybe if I just say no, then somebody will be like, no, but we really need it now. No, we're still all pretty like friendly. A lot of us all see each other. I was working this weekend, but it was actually Jacob Zacker's 40th birthday on Saturday, and I couldn't make it. But yeah, no, everyone's lovely, and we meet up every few months to just hang out, or somebody throws an event. And we would all love to work on it again, I think. Some of us like maybe not, but most everyone would probably come back. And there was a time where they had at an upfronts they said that we were doing this movie, which they did have a script for, but nobody had actually like hadn't really signed up for it yet, and then it just kind of was dead in the water. But as networks continue to change and be absorbed by other networks, there's always an opportunity for something like that to happen. I would never say never, but yeah, I have some ideas. I'm gonna try to get back on them again. I every like year will just try to get a meeting with producers and just say, hey guys, anybody want to do another reunion? It is the thing to do. So let's fingers crossed, Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, guys. Rick and Morty for 100 years. I have to wrap up. Thank you for taking the time to speak
100
to me.
years. Thanks, Adam.
Hi, Adam. Thank you so much.